Poison. That's not a word you expect to associate with your own kitchen, your own home, your own roommate. But here I was, sitting on the edge of my bed, heart pounding, hands shaking, staring at the tiny screen in my hand, watching her. My roommate, Megan, smiling like butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, while she stirred something into my tea, something I didn't put there, something she clearly didn't want me to know about. The night before, I set up a camera. Not because I thought she was trying to kill me. Not at first. But because little things had been off. My food tasting weird. Getting dizzy after drinking only things she handed me. My stomach turning inside out on nights we shared dinner. Gaslighting. That's what I thought it was. Megan loved to play sweet. Play concerned. Oh no, are you sure you're okay? Must be stress, girl. But stress doesn't leave aftertaste. Stress doesn't come from tea I didn't make. Stress doesn't look like a white powder she's stirring into my cup. But guess what? Neither does revenge. And once I had the proof, once I saw exactly what she'd been doing, I didn't cry, didn't panic, didn't even tell her. Because snakes like Megan, they don't deserve warnings. They deserve consequences. Delivered cold, silent, and watched from a front row seat. Graphic designer. Work from home life. Pretty normal, really. I'm not the dramatic type. I'm not the petty type. Honestly, I'm chill to a fault. Maybe that's why I didn't see Megan coming. Because when I moved into that apartment a year ago, I thought I hit the roommate jackpot. Rent was reasonable. Neighborhood was safe. And Megan? She seemed cool. Sweet even. The kind of girl who left sticky notes with little reminders like, "Have a good day," next to my coffee mug. The kind of girl who always offered to split groceries. The kind of girl who checked in when I didn't look like myself. Textbook nice girl energy. But what I didn't realize was that nice girls like Megan, they're the most dangerous kind. The ones who don't look like villains. The ones who hug you with one arm and hide a knife in the other. At first, living with Megan was easy. We shared playlists. Did Sunday Target runs together. Swapped bad dating stories over boxed wine. It felt like friendship. Real friendship. Late-night kitchen talks. Shared memes. Inside jokes about our loud upstairs neighbor. I trusted her. Completely. Until things started feeling off. Like weird off. Tiny things that didn't scream danger, but whispered pay attention. Food tasting strange. Watered down juice when I know I poured it straight. This weird chalky aftertaste in my tea, but only when Megan made it for me. Random stomach cramps. Headaches out of nowhere. At first, I thought I was imagining it. Stress, right? Bad sleep. Too much screen time. That's what Megan said, too. "Girl, you work way too much. You've got to start taking vitamins or something." Always so helpful. Always so concerned. Always watching me drink what she handed me. That's when my gut kicked in. Not my stomach, my instincts. And when those start screaming at you, you don't ignore them. You investigate. And what I was about to find out made me wish I was just overthinking. Because Megan wasn't just a bad roommate. Megan was poison. Literally. And I was about to flip her entire little world upside down. Quietly. Perfectly. Without saying a word. I think that's the part that messed with me most. How normal it felt. How safe. Megan wasn't just my roommate. She was part of my routine. Part of my life. We joked all the time about how lucky we were to find each other on a random roommate app. "No Craigslist horror stories here," she'd laugh. And for the first 6 months, that felt true. We decorated the place together like a Pinterest board come to life. Cozy throw blankets everywhere. Candles in every room. We had this dumb little tradition where every Sunday night we'd bake something. Cookies, brownies, even box cake mix if we were lazy. Megan loved baking. Said it calmed her nerves. Looking back now, chilling, honestly. She was thoughtful in all the ways bad people pretend to be. Bought me snacks I liked. Kept almond milk stocked because I'm lactose intolerant. Even remembered that I hate pulp in orange juice. She played her part well. So well that I never, not once, thought about guarding my food or double-checking my drinks. That's what makes betrayal so brutal. It's not the act itself. It's how easily you trusted the hands that hurt you. I mean, this girl decorated my birthday breakfast table. She gave me a handmade card. She bought me fuzzy socks and a new mug that said, "World's okayest roommate." I love that mug. Still have it. Not because I'm sentimental, but because it reminds me exactly how fake people can be when they want something. And Megan? She didn't just want to live rent-split comfortable. She wanted control. Power. To play the sweet girl with the hidden edge. The one who smiled to your face, while figuring out how to get under your skin, or in my case, into my food, into my drinks, into my system. But back then, I didn't know. I didn't see it. I was laughing in the kitchen, making cookies with my roommate, thinking we were building a little version of home. Never realizing, she was busy building a weapon. One cup of tea at a time. It always starts small. That's the thing people don't tell you about betrayal. It doesn't show up like a thunderstorm. It creeps. Slow. Quiet. Almost. Polite. The first weird thing? My tea. Always the tea. Megan loved making it. Loved bringing it to me while I worked late on my laptop. You've been grinding all day, girl. Hydrate. Sweet, right? Except it started tasting off. Like too bitter. Or almost. Powdery? But only when she made it. When I brewed it myself. Fine. Then came the food. She'd offer me bites of whatever she cooked. Always pushing. Taste this. Tell me if it needs more salt. Except after eating her food, I'd feel dizzy. Stomach tight. Head foggy. Like I was moving underwater. I told myself I was being dramatic. Stress. Bad sleep. Caffeine overload. But then, it kept happening. Random stomach cramps only after sharing meals with her. Feeling weak after drinking things she handed me directly. Headaches that left me curled up in bed while she hovered nearby, acting like my nurse. You've got to take better care of yourself, she'd say, brushing my hair back like some doting bestie. Meanwhile, my gut was screaming. Something wasn't right. Then came the fridge incident. We always shared groceries, but one morning I noticed my almond milk had this weird film at the top. Not spoiled, not expired, but off. I threw it out without thinking. 2 days later, same thing. Different carton, different brand. That's when it clicked. If I didn't open it, if Megan touched it first, something was wrong. Every single time. Then one night she got sloppy, handed me tea, again, but forgot to fully stir whatever powder she was using. White residue floating at the bottom of the mug. Not sugar, not creamer, something else. Something I never bought. That was it. That was the moment. When my stomach wasn't just hurting. It dropped. Cold. Hard. Real. Megan wasn't messy. She was methodical. Calculated. And if she thought I was going to let that slide, she really didn't know me at all. Because this wasn't fear. This wasn't panic. This was war. Silent. Strategic. And Megan? She had no idea her countdown had just started. After that last cup of tea, everything changed. My house didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like enemy territory. And Megan? She wasn't my roommate. She was a walking red flag with perfect eyeliner. I stopped drinking anything she handed me. Stopped eating anything she cooked. But I didn't tell her that. Oh no, that's what she would have expected. A confrontation. A fight. A meltdown. She didn't get that. She got calm. Quiet. Dangerous me. Step 1. Buy a hidden camera. Amazon. Overnight shipping. Tiny little thing disguised as a USB charger. Placed perfectly in the corner of the kitchen. Angled right at the stove and counter. Easy. Untraceable. She wouldn't even notice. Not when she thought she'd won. Not when she thought I was just some tired, overworked roommate too polite to question her. Step 2. Act normal. Fake tired. Fake distracted. Let her keep feeling comfortable. People like Megan? They get real sloppy when they think you're clueless. And sloppy people? Leave evidence. Sure enough. It didn't take long. 3 days after I set up the camera, she tried again. Tea night. Classic Megan move. But this time, I watched her like I never had before. Not directly. From my room. On my phone. Live feed. Watching her open a small bottle from inside her own backpack. Shake a little powder into my cup. Stir. Smile. Like it was just another casual night in. I felt my stomach twist, not from what was in the cup, but from the fact that this girl, this person I lived with, was bold enough to do this right in my kitchen. Confident enough to poison me and then check in on me like some twisted Florence Nightingale. Step 3. Save everything. Videos. Screenshots. Timestamp it all. Because this wasn't just roommate drama anymore. This was criminal. But the police? They weren't going to deliver the kind of justice I wanted. No. Megan needed to be ruined. By her own hands. In front of the people she manipulated the most, our other roommates, our friends, her fake little social circle. And me. I wasn't going to yell. Wasn't going to threaten. I was going to show them. And once they saw what I saw, she wouldn't just lose me. She'd lose everything. I wish I could say Megan worked alone. That maybe this was just her weird, twisted obsession with control. But snakes like her? They never slither alone. They travel in packs. Fake friends attract other fake friends. And Megan? She had plenty. See, we didn't live in a solo apartment. It was a 4-bedroom. Me, Megan, Casey, and Bree. Casey was chill, kept to herself mostly. But Bree? Megan had her wrapped around her finger. They were always together, whispering, laughing at things that got suspiciously quiet when I walked in. Looking back, there were so many moments I'd brushed off. Times Megan warned Bree that I might be too sensitive or going through something. Setting the stage, making me look like the unstable one. Classic gaslighter behavior. Divide and conquer. If I got sick from her little poison stunts, Megan had already told Bree I wasn't taking care of myself. If I got snappy or quiet, Megan would tilt her head and say, "See? I told you. Jordan's been really off lately." It was all theater. All control. Setting up her perfect little narrative for when things fell apart. But here's the thing about me. I don't play defense for long. I go quiet. I go still. And I plan. Because while she was busy manipulating Bree, I started talking to Casey. Carefully. Subtly. Asking if she'd noticed anything weird. Turns out, Casey had seen plenty. How Megan always insisted on making me tea, but never drank any herself. How she'd accidentally toss my leftovers if I didn't eat them right away. How Bree started pulling away from me after any one-on-one hangout with Megan. It wasn't just poison in my food. It was poison in my friendships. And Megan was serving it everywhere. But what Megan didn't know was that I wasn't just collecting proof in the kitchen. I was collecting proof in the house. In conversations. In text receipts. In screenshots from our group chats, where Megan would say one thing to me. And something entirely different to Bree and Casey. It wasn't just about catching Megan with a hidden camera anymore. It was about exposing who she really was. In front of everyone, she thought she'd already won over. Quietly. Perfectly. Without raising my voice. The thing about playing dumb? It gives you power. Because while Megan thought I was weak, thought I was fragile, tired, too stressed to notice what was happening right under my nose, I was 2 steps ahead. Watching. Recording. Planning. And the night I knew I was officially done, that was the night Megan made one fatal mistake. She got cocky. Sloppy. She left her little poison bottle out on the kitchen counter. Wide open. Right next to my mug. Like she didn't even care if I saw it. Like she thought I'd never question her. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't about control anymore. This wasn't about getting away with it. Megan thought I was already defeated. Already isolated. Already too sick or slow or out of it to do anything about it. And that was her biggest mistake. I didn't say a word. I just took a picture of that bottle. Clear. Time-stamped. Added it to the folder I'd been quietly building on my phone labeled Megan Receipts. I didn't confront her. Didn't touch the mug. Didn't even flinch. I calmly dumped the tea down the sink when she wasn't looking. Smiled like nothing happened. And then I sent a simple text to Casey. "Hey, can you meet me in my room when you get home tonight? I need to show you something." No context. No drama. Just trust. She came in 10 minutes after Megan went to bed. I showed her everything. The videos. The screenshots. The bottle. Casey's face went pale. "Dude, this is insane." "Yeah, tell me about it." But I wasn't done yet. Because people like Megan don't just lose privately. They lose publicly. And for as much as she loved performing for Bree, it was time for Bree to see the real show. No filter. No spin. Just Megan. Caught. Exposed. Finished. Funny thing about betrayal. Once you stop feeling it, once it stops hurting, you become unstoppable. That was me now. No more confusion. No more doubt. No more maybe I'm overthinking. Nah, Megan didn't deserve that version of me anymore. She wasn't getting tears. She wasn't getting anger. She was getting strategy. Silence. And a front row seat to the downfall she built for herself. Casey and I stayed up for hours that night planning everything. We replayed the video footage. Watched the part where Megan casually poisoned my tea like she was adding honey. Casey's face went from shock to disgust to something else entirely. "You know what we should do," she whispered. And that was it. Game on. Step 1. Get Bree. Carefully. We knew Megan had been running her mouth. Manipulating her. Twisting the story. Setting me up as unstable. So I didn't come at Bree with accusations. I came at her with proof. Texted her the next morning like it was any other day. "Hey, quick question. When you get home later, can we talk in the living room? I just want to clear the air on some stuff." Neutral. Calm. Not defensive. Not emotional. Exactly the opposite of what Megan would expect. Step 2. Lay the trap. Casey and I set the phone up early, hidden but perfectly angled at the living room couch. We knew Megan wouldn't resist being nosy. She never did. Sure enough, that night, the second Bree and I sat down, Megan suddenly appeared in the doorway like a sitcom villain. OMG, what's going on? Everything okay? Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Because what Megan didn't know was that sitting in my hands, on my phone, was a full video of her poisoning me. Crystal clear. Time-stamped. Undeniable. And Bree, she was about to see the real Megan for the first time. No lies. No stories. Just raw, unfiltered truth. Exactly the thing people like Megan can't survive. Because fake nice girls crumble fast. When there's nowhere left to hide. When Bree walked into that living room that night, she looked nervous, hesitant, like she didn't know what to expect. Megan had done a good job planting seeds in her head. Jordan's been really off lately. She's super stressed, poor thing. I think she's not taking care of herself. Classic manipulation. Classic deflection. But there's one thing liars never prepare for. Proof. I didn't come at Bree with emotion. Didn't vent. Didn't complain. I calmly opened my phone. Hit play on the video of Megan standing in our kitchen. Clear as day. Smiling. Dumping mystery powder into my tea like she was baking cookies. Bree's jaw dropped. Is that the night you got sick? I nodded. Silent. Cool. Calculated. Then I showed her the bottle photo. The text history. Everything. Her face went pale. Shock first. Then horror. Then rage. Pure cold rage. Not at me. At Megan. Right on cue? Megan stepped around the corner. Fake concern dripping from her voice like always. What's going on? Everything okay in here? She tried to smile. Tried to act casual. But Bree didn't even look at her. Megan, she said, voice flat. You need to sit down. Megan blinked. What, why? What's happening? Casey came out from her room too. Silent. Present. Backup. And just like that, Megan realized. This wasn't an intervention. This wasn't a conversation. This was an execution. I calmly pulled up the final video. Audio clear. Her whispering to herself in the kitchen. This should make her shut up for the night. Her words. Her voice. Her downfall. Silence fell heavy. Thick. Ugly. Exactly the sound I'd been waiting for. Megan froze. No smile. No defense. Just pure, rattled panic settling into her fake perfect bones. Because she knew. There was no explaining this. No twisting it. No way out. This wasn't just petty drama anymore. This was criminal. And the audience was right here. Watching. Waiting. Done. Silence. That was the loudest sound in the room. Bree sat stiff on the couch, her eyes locked on Megan like she'd never seen her before. Casey leaned in the doorway, arms crossed, not saying a word. And me. I just sat there. Calm. Quiet. Holding every piece of proof in my hand. Watching Megan start to unravel. And the best part? I never raised my voice once. Megan opened her mouth, like she was about to launch into one of her signature performances. The fake shock. The wide-eyed innocence. But she caught herself. Because how do you spin video footage? How do you lie your way around your own voice saying, this should make her shut up for the night? You don't. You can't. And Megan? She knew it. Okay. She finally whispered, her voice shaking, Jordan. I don't know what you think this looks like, but... I cut her off. One sentence. Flat. Cold. Save it. Her mouth snapped shut. Because this wasn't a conversation. This was a verdict. Already delivered. Already sealed. Bree stood up next. Slow. Controlled. You've been poisoning her. Not a question. A fact. You could have seriously hurt her, Megan. Her voice broke a little, not with sadness. With disgust. Casey didn't say a word. Just shook her head in pure disappointment. Then came the final blow. I looked Megan dead in the eye. Here's what's going to happen. Simple. Final. You're moving out. You're leaving quietly. Or I go to the police. No screaming. No threats. Just reality. And the part that made her go pale? I meant it. Every single word. Megan didn't argue. Didn't beg. She just sat there frozen. Cornered. Exposed. The same girl who smiled in my face while stirring poison into my tea. Now sitting in complete silence. Alone. Exactly how she deserved to be. Megan moved out within the week. No goodbye. No fake tears. No parting words. Just boxes. Silence. And a front door closing behind her that felt like the most peaceful sound I'd heard in months. I didn't post about it. Didn't blast her online. Didn't even warn the entire friend circle. I didn't have to. Word travels fast when receipts are real. Casey told a few people. Bree told a few more. By the end of the month, everybody knew. The story spread in whispers. In screenshots. In quiet conversations at brunch tables that Megan would never be invited to again. See, people like Megan survive on control. On perception. On playing the victim before anyone else can tell the real story. But the thing about real proof? It kills spin. Dead. Cold. Final. Her little army of fake friends? Gone. Our mutuals? Avoided her like the plague. The girl who once bragged about being the most liked person in every room? Now completely alone. Exactly how she left me feeling on those nights she poisoned my food and smiled in my face like we were still friends. Casey and Bree? Closer than ever. The energy shifted in the house instantly. It felt lighter. Safe. Real. I could sleep without worrying. Eat without second-guessing. Breathe without watching my back in my own kitchen. You don't realize how heavy fake friendship feels. Until you cut it loose. As for Megan, last I heard, she moved across town. Tried to start over. But people talk. People remember. And I made sure every roommate group chat in the city had the truth locked and loaded. Just in case anyone ever looked her up. Not because I wanted revenge, but because I wanted safety for whoever came next. For me, I was done. Done playing nice. Done being quiet for the wrong reasons. But still, I never raised my voice. Never lost my cool. Because the best revenge is peace and silence. And walking through your own front door without looking over your shoulder. They say keep your friends close and your enemies closer. But me, I keep my enemies exactly where they belong. Out of my house. Out of my life, and far away from my peace. Megan thought she could poison me quietly. Smile in my face. Gaslight me. Play me like I was some clueless little roommate who wouldn't notice. What she didn't know. I'm not clueless. I'm patient. Deadly patient. I didn't ruin her life with a fight. Didn't scream in her face. Didn't go off in a public meltdown. That's messy revenge. That's loud revenge. Me. I let the truth speak for itself. On camera. In screenshots. In silence, Megan lost everything that mattered to her. Her fake little social life. Her power. Her audience. Because when people like her lose control, they crumble. Fast. Ugly. Alone. And me. I sleep just fine. No tea necessary. No second guessing every bite I take in my own kitchen. No fake laughs across the dinner table. Just peace. Real peace. The kind of peace you only get after cutting a snake out of your life by the root. Quietly. Perfectly, without saying a single word more than necessary. Because people like Megan always forget one thing. If you leave a trail of poison behind you, don't be surprised when you end up drinking it yourself.
Thanks so much for watching. If you love a good revenge story, or if you've ever dreamed of getting the last word without saying much at all, you're in the right place. Be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new savage ending. Because around here, karma always hits different.